All right, I'm going to try and talk over the fan. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get started with these fillets. I've already got my pan nice and hot. Got a little bit of oil in there. There's your fillets. Got some thyme sitting on the side waiting. So I'm going to go ahead and sit them in. They've already been salted, ready to go. So they're going to sit for like 3 minutes. At 3 minutes or somewhere in there, I'm going to touch them and see if they're able to move and stuff. They're able to move. That means they've released and that they're seared really good. And so really just sit here for like 3 minutes and make sure they're ready to go. So I've already got my garlic and stuff set up, and I've got my thyme ready to go. So once these get pretty good to go and stuff, I want to go ahead and put about 4 knobs of butter in there. And I'll take these off for a little bit and let them rest while I get the butter cooked down. And so I'll go ahead and do that. And then once I've got these kind of cooked down a little bit, I'm just touching to see if they're moving. So I want to get a good sear on them. So I'll move them around a little bit to make sure that all the sides get seared really well. See how that finally released. So I'll just keep moving around a little bit over these next couple minutes. I'll move them around. That took about a minute and a half for that to get so I could move it. And then at 3 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and flip that. When I flip that, I'll let that sear fry for another couple minutes. And then after I let it sear for a couple minutes, I'll do the sides and then I'll pull it off. And then we'll go to basting, and we'll baste it with butter and garlic for a couple minutes. And then we'll add the thyme, let the thyme kind of cook in. And then once that thyme cooks in, then what we'll do is put the thyme on with the garlic over, and we'll just keep sauteing them. We got about 50 seconds, and then we'll go ahead and flip those. You can do this for however long you want, but I found that 3 minutes gives me a really good sear. Gets me the color that I'm looking for. Doesn't burn them. Gets them just that nice texture too, because you really want that nice sear on your meat. At least I do. And I like my medium rare. So when you're basting, you got to think about that, because your basting is where you're going to get them to that temperature that you're looking for. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm at 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these. Give that a couple minutes. And you'll see as these start to cook. Like right now, I've got a really nice sear on there. As these start to cook, you'll see the edges down at the bottom. They're going to start changing. Quite ready. And you'll see it starts cooking from the outside. That inside's what we're going to cook with that butter and that garlic. And we'll get that. Oh, it'll be good. Trust me. So I've got a little sauce over here in this pan. You can kind of see it's a white sauce. It's made with onion and garlic. Oh, I'm sorry, not garlic. Onion and mushrooms. But I started that out with a little bit of butter. I say a little bit, a full stick. And then I added basically what's a half cup of flour, cooked that in, and then I added water until I got it to the consistency that I wanted. And then at that point, that's when I went ahead and added my brie cheese. So this is a cheese sauce with mushrooms and onion. And that's going to go over broccoli that I've cooked. And you could put it on your steak if you like that. I'm a traditionalist. I like my steak a certain way. So now we're going to go ahead and get the sides, get those nice and seared. This here, that's stuff you can make really good sauces out of. Don't ever scrape that off your pan. That's great when you're cooking. So if I was going to make a sauce, and maybe put some wine in there and cook that off, and then set up my sauce I'd put over this, then that's what I would use. You're going to see once I get this flipped over, you'll see a little bit of color that we're looking for. And I'll move my hands once I do that. See how we're starting to get that nice little color there? And we're getting ready to take these off here in just a second. At that point, when I take these off, I'm going to put them onto a rack, and that rack's going to be over top of a plate so that these can stop cooking, because I don't want them to continue to cook. Okay. All right. At this point, I'm going to take my pan. I'm going to get rid of that excess oil because I don't need the oil. I just want to put butter in there. And I'm going to turn my top of my thing here. Can't talk, sorry. And I'm going to turn that down a little bit. All I'm doing is I'm wiping my pan out. I'm going to add those knobs of butter I said. And I'm going to add my garlic. All I'm doing is I'm going to try and get my garlic to cook a little bit. So it seasons up my pan before I put those fish back in. I'm going to take a little bit of that meat that's on there. I'm going to use that kind of make my meat here. I'm really just kind of cooking up my butter and my garlic and get that garlic smell. You'll start to smell it pretty quick. And I want that butter foaming. You see the foam? That's what I want. That's a proper temp. At this point, I'm about ready to put my steaks back in. So I'm going to go ahead and put my steaks back in. And I put them to the top of my pan. But I'm taking them away from the heat, and I'm only cooking them with the butter and the garlic. Because that butter's plenty hot. Finish cooking those fillets. Plus you're getting all that amazing flavor from the garlic and that butter. And who doesn't love butter? I do. Obviously, if you know me, you know I like butter. You've seen my body. So I'll just keep basting these until I know I'm getting them to the temp I want. And what I'm doing is I know over a few minutes, I know I'm going to get to where I want it. But if I really want to know, I can either one, take a temp. And if you're temping these and you're going to take them off, you really want to take them off about 120, 125 at the latest and let them sit because they're going to continue to cook to get to that beautiful 130. And 130 is where you're going to want to be if you're a medium rare. About 135 to 140 if you're, uh, well, I'd say that's rare. But if you want to get to a medium rare, probably 135 to 140. And then you'll just keep going up from there until you ruin your steak, in my opinion. But anyways, you just keep basting those for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and start throwing my thyme in because I love the taste of thyme. And I add my thyme a little early probably. But I want to get that thyme in there and let that kind of cook in. You don't know what thyme is, man. When you put it in there, you can smell it. It's a just great smell. And you can hear. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it still cooking. It's oh, that thyme smells so great. So what I'll do every little bit here, I'm going to start feeling, see where these steaks are. They're probably getting pretty close here. That's for our liking. And I'll rest these probably for about 3 to 5 minutes. That way they have plenty of time to continue to cook to get to that temperature I want. And it just locks in that flavor and all the juices and stuff. Because you cut that too soon, you're going to lose all that juice and you're going to get all kinds of blood or whatever you want to call it all over your plate. And it's going to look like a sloppy mess. If you allow that to sit for a little bit, what that does, it locks that juice in and you get to eat all that. It's just amazing. So give it time to cook, give it time to rest. Don't be in a hurry. If you're in a hurry, you're wasting this beautiful meat. So I think I'm about done. So what I like to do is I like to take my thyme, finish it out on top of the steaks. Like I said, I like thyme. So I'll baste a little bit of butter over the top of those steaks with that thyme on there. Just to kind of get that little bit of extra. And that's basically what I do. So I'm getting ready to take these off. They're going to rest for probably 5 minutes more than likely. So I can finish up the rest of my stuff. And then we're going to eat. And then I will post some pictures of the finished product. And then you guys can see. So thank you for looking, and we'll talk to you soon.